Hello, everyone. I hope you're getting a little more comfortable in your new reality, those of you who have shifted along with myself. Today, I'm going to cover something that seems like an older Mandela effect, something that people were discussing and arguing about 10 years ago online. This totally blows me away. I'd like to mention real quick the Mandela effect is such a crazy thing. Never in human history do I believe that there has ever been anything like this where you can grab a family member or friend and say, you know what, right now, I can either totally blow your mind, just totally blow your mind more than ever in your entire lifetime, or you're going to think I've just totally gone off the edge and lost it, and you're going to think I need help. So it's such a crazy thing. It's just, I don't know. I am, feeling the way I'm feeling because there's just never ever been anything like this. And there's still tons of people don't understand it. They think they can just go look something up and they can say, well, look, here it is. I debunked you. I debunked this. Here it is right here in the encyclopedia. You're wrong. Well, that's not what this is about. But anyway, we've gone over that several times. So let's talk about this here. Reverend Bowen visits Head Start classes. Now, this is going to be voting video number 18, I think. So please thumb this up if you agree with me. And please thumb it down if you don't. Now, I shouldn't even be able to do this. But, for whatever reason and whatever has gone on, my consciousness has shifted from another reality where this was true. And it isn't true in this reality. So I come from a reality, please thumb this up if you did too, where this was true. Reverend Lloyd Bowen visited the Head Start afternoon classes last week in connection with Black History activities. February 28th, Black History Month, 1990, Palo Verde Valley Times. He talked with each class, sang songs with them, and told stories. He emphasized say no to drugs. The classes are learning about the contributions made by Black people through the years, as well as those of our own local Black athletes. Among those Black people from history they're discussing are civil rights leader Martin Luther King, Eli Whitney, the man who mechanized the cotton gin, Garrett Morgan, who patented the stoplight, and so on. This is what I learned in school. This is what I always thought. I remember my whole life thinking that it was kind of ironic that someone who increased mass importation of slaves to work on cotton plantations due to his invention of something that, increased the profits of having the cotton plantations. I thought it was ironic that a Black man invented this machine which led to, an increase in importation of Black slaves and ultimately made it worse for more people. But I think, I also imagine that he made it easier. The work could have been made easier on the slaves that were doing the work. But I remember Eli Whitney being an African American or a Black man. That's what I learned growing up. Please thumb up the video if you agree with me. And some of you who just think that, how could I even be thinking this? It's always been a white man from Yale who invented the cotton gin. I'm sure after a day or two, you're going to be blown away by the number of thumbs up. Because I know a lot of you were taught in school that Eli Whitney was an African American. I know that. So, here's Eli Whitney here. An old dude from the late 1700s who went to Yale and invented the cotton gin. This is not what I learned. Actually, I just learned this a few months ago. It was an old white dude. I didn't know. My whole life, I thought it was a Black man. So this is just totally mind-blowing to me. I understand some of you are going to say that, well, he got the idea from a slave, and that's, I know, I read all that. That's not what I was taught. Here's a Black man invented the cotton gin, posted in the African American Forum right here. And this is 13 let's see, 13 years ago, yeah. It says 10 years ago, but now this is 2003. So people were talking about this. And then Eli Whitney ain't black. Okay, I don't know if I would have titled it that, but I would have probably put isn't. Every once in a while, something comes along that just flat out surprises me. This most recent surprise comes courtesy of the fact that there seem to be a whole lot of people who think Eli Whitney was black. Well, yes, because that's what we were taught in the reality that we existed in. Now, for some reason, I've always thought that he was black. Looks like an African-American man here that's saying he thought he was black. I also thought he invented the cotton gin. Now, mind you, this is 10 years ago. People were arguing about this online. I think I remember hearing that. Okay, wait. I knew he wasn't black. All right. Okay, so you've always been in this reality, probably. I did think, and in fact was taught Eli Whitney was black. Miss Mona. My dad just told me Eli Whitney was not a black man. I learned that he was in school. Well, I learned the same thing right here. Apparently, they didn't know that they had memories of another reality. There's no doubt in my mind that that's what's going on here, people. And I'm going to be able to continue to make videos. I have a list of hundreds of things. I could do hundreds of videos. I don't really want to bore everyone with hundreds of videos on, little apostrophes and just a list of spelling things that are spelled different. I was going to do Adam's Family has 2 D's. I only remember 1 D. Jim Carrey's got 2 R's in his name. I only remember 1. I mean, the list goes on and on. I've only scratched the surface of things that seem different to me now. Even former NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle is now Roselle with a Z. Remember it being with an S. You just see his name come across the screen years ago. I mean, yeah, I could have misremembered that. I could have misremembered everything. But it just seems so many things have changed. Procter & Gamble, Procter ER just seems weird. Procter with OR, Procter & Gamble, they make tons of stuff. It's just on and on and on. No one should be able to show me a list of things and say, hey, look, you thought all of this was different. So anyhow, I'm rambling on now. Eli Whitney, if you always thought he was a African-American or black man that invented the cotton gin, please thumb up this video. If he's always been a white guy from Yale, please thumb down this video. That's it for now. I will talk to you all soon. Thanks for watching.